All right, let me double check if I'm live or not. I can hear myself. Perfect. Let me close this all these tabs so that I don't hear an echo. Let me open up this thing. I want to go to this website. Hey everyone, welcome to a live stream about the current state of image generative AI tools. I'm looking this way because one of my screens open here, so I'm supposed to look here. Uh, in this live stream, I'll be talking about the current existing, some of the best tools that exist for image generation. These, as you've probably seen in the thumbnail, these are Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, Adobe's Firefly, which I personally think that's like one of my favorite, or it's the one that's up there, or it's the one to beat. There's also a few others like Lexica Art. I'm trying to think if there are any others, but these are the four main ones that come to my mind at least. And in this live stream, you can expect me to cover all of these, share some quirks about all of these, share about their personalities, what these really act like. And this wouldn't be a chai style live stream if I didn't share any tricks. So you can also expect some tricks. I think I'll cover two or three about all of these tools. So two or three tricks that I don't think is shared widely. But before that, I was just sharing my screen about this. If you look under the like button, you'll find a link to register for H2O World India. I'll be giving away 3 tickets for this, and this is happening in 2 weeks in Bangalore. So if any one of you is interested in this, all you have to do is just stay active on the live stream. And if you're watching the recap, just drop a comment on this video about something you enjoyed in this study session. And that's all you need to be entered. I'll be giving away 3 tickets today, and I'll keep doing this for all of the future study groups that I end up hosting. So this is your chance. I can't say much, but I will say this much, that you can expect at least quite a few exciting announcements about large language models then. That's all I say. That's all I'll say. So again, check out the event description under the like button. The first link in the description takes you to this. You can take a look if you're interested. And with that, we can jump into comparing all of these tools. You can already see that I had Stable Diffusion loaded up here, and I had literally copy pasted the lyrics of Paris by Chainsmokers. This is the image it came up with. So these are the kind of things you can expect from this live stream. And if I'm being particular, I suppose I'm going to cover the landscape of image generative tools. And if I were to rephrase that, it's me generating images for an hour. And if I were to rephrase that further, what we are actually doing today is we all are learning prompt engineering for all of these tools. So that's the thing. That's the link you clicked on. But all jokes aside, here's the agenda for today. I'll try to explain these tools and their behavior. Where did these originate from? Their personalities, some things that stand out. For example, I really like how Midjourney has this aesthetics to it. So Midjourney is really popular because of that, because of the styling it comes up with, or because of the styling of the images it comes up with. There's Stable Diffusion, which, if you believe it or not, can actually do what all of the other tools already claim to do, or it's like already able to do all of that. But it's a bit of an open source moment for Stable Diffusion. So for you to be really able to work with Stable Diffusion well enough, you need to like know it inside out, and you need to know the community, you need to know the existing models, existing extensions, if I may. We'll just talk about that. So if you don't understand those words, don't worry about it. And then Adobe Firefly, which I made a video on, and I said it's one of the most market ready products for what it does. So that's what we're looking at. I'll also compare how prompt engineering differs from all of this. I'm not going to like give some useless ideas. I'll actually give you very practical tips of how Midjourney, for example, expects weights. So when you are giving a prompt to a language, or to, not a language model, to a generative model, you can give weights to certain words. So let's say, and I'll just show this later, but let's say I'm trying to generate images that are themed on H2AI's colors. So there, what I would do is I would give a strong weightage to yellow and black, because those are the colors we go with. And there are different tricks around all of that. Finally, as I've promised, and I'll try to stay true to it, you all can hold me accountable. I'll try to share two tricks of each tool. So to give you an idea, or maybe we'll take a look at it eventually. So I wanted to tease something out about Midjourney. If I have it open, I'll probably show it real quick. I need to scroll up a lot, so that's what I'm trying to do right now. Let's see if I can get there. Just give me a second. I am scrolling up in my Discord where I've already pretty much exhausted my credits and upgraded them again. Here we are. Let me share my screen to that. Stop the screen share the screen again. Select Discord. Hopefully, this should take you there. Yep, this is one of my favorite, so to speak, party tricks or tricks of Midjourney. So, the selfie trick, as it's known on Reddit. So in mid journey, to the best of my knowledge, I'm sure this is possible in stable diffusion. I haven't been able to figure out how. But in mid journey, you can create these absolutely hilarious images where it looks like an animal group is taking a group selfie, and you can do it for different animals. So it works for monkeys. I then thought maybe like let's try the same with elephants, and maybe I can like make an elephant hold a phone with its trunk, so it'll appear like its trunk is stretched out, and that's what's taking the selfie. That did not work, but given for most animals, this usually works. So that's one of the tricks I wanted to share ahead. I've already spoiled it, so I'll probably try to come up with something else eventually. But there are these cool personality traits, as I've been mentioning constantly. So here's a table comparing all of these three tools at least. There's also Lexica Art, which is pretty popular, if I may. And if you head over to Lexica Art's website, you'll see all of the images there. So you can see that Lexica also has this, if I may, a personality to the styling that it comes out with. And again, the promise of all of these tools is given the same prompt, what you can come up with. Now, if I were to like talk about what's the real value here, or what's like a product idea you could build on, or what's like the value add to something you're building, I thought about that a lot. And for all of these tools, I guess there's sort of companions to your artistic workflows. That's the most obvious one. Now, you could, of course, like generate images of house interiors. You could play around with that. You could change that up a bit. So that's also totally possible. Sorry about that. I refreshed the tab that I was screen sharing from, and that kicked me off for a second. Sorry about that. I think I should be back now. Let me just double check. I'm audible to you all, right? Can someone please confirm in the chat? I think I can hear myself. Perfect. Sorry about that, everyone. So coming back to this, I was talking about these personalities that they have. So Lexica also has this custom model that they have trained, And this is, by custom model I mean a custom diffusion model. So you can see it has this uh, aesthetic to it that I'm calling a personality, and that like applies to all of these images. So it's like I'm trying to put it into words and probably messing it up, but it's like this surreal quality where it's like bit of a cartoon, but also a bit of realism. So if I may, it's like a bit surreal, and it's like true all across the board. So true for this car was true for the fox I was looking at, but I'm not covering this because I don't think this like stands out a lot. So here's the table I wanted to come back to. So if you look at this, this is like a very classic comparison, if I may. Mid Journey is in its version 5, and Stable Diffusion is in its version 2.1. But that is not to say that Mid Journey has had. Rohini is saying it's audible. Thanks, Rohini. So it's not to say that Stable Diffusion is hasn't had the same amount of development. Stable Diffusion came out with version 1.4 to the best of my knowledge first, and then there was 1.5. After that, there was 2.0 and now 2.1. So it's also sort of at version 4, but it's had the most amount of open source development around it. And Firefly by Adobe. So this is by Adobe, and this is my personal favorite for what it does. I'm coming in with that bias, but this currently is in beta, so that's in like point 0.1 version release. About their communities, Midjourney basically relies on Discord. There's no way of generating images for Midjourney outside Discord. The way you interact with it is on Discord, and the way you get outputs is on Discord. And to the best of my knowledge, this has the largest Discord communities out of all existing tools. And by largest, I mean in the scale of millions. Stable Diffusion has the largest open source community, so it has libraries around it. It has independent hosting platforms where you can literally post any model and people download it, use it all the time. So even if I were to look here and if I am to go to the models, go to image to text, you can see there's some captioning ones here. Sorry, I wanted text to image. So you can see the top ones are just the stable diffusion models, but there's also different ones from community, and all of these have like a certain personality. So in that sense, the stable diffusion becomes this like multi-fold uh, model. So you can see I'm looking at redshift detection. I know about this. So what redshift does is it's like a editing style where you, I, if I understand correctly, you add a bit of change in the red color wavelength, and that makes your images sharper. So that is what this model does. Let's take a look at another one. Vintato is pretty popular. This I think is like closest to Midjourney in terms of what it does. And you can already see, like if you look at the images here, right? This comes really close to Midjourney, if I may. In Firefly, that has a large product community, and when you look at the tool, which we will in just a few minutes, Adobe has had this like incredible experience of building these tools, right? For, why am I not in focus? Let me get myself in focus. There we go. So Adobe's had this incredible experience of building these creative AI tools, right? And that really shines through when you're playing with Firefly. Now, Stable Diffusion has this most polluted training where it's not clear where the models, at least the community models, are coming from, because most of the people don't share that knowledge. So in that sense, Stable Diffusion has a big question mark on like its commercial usage, at least the images that you make out of it. Firefly takes pride in saying that they have trained on completely stock free images and it's ready for commercial use. Not in the beta, but that's the goal for the final product. And then Midjourney has been like had this independent training where it's also somewhat they say it's ready for commercial use, and to the best of my knowledge, it's been trained completely independently out of compared to the other two models, and the data sets, I don't think they overlap quite a bit. Now the last row is basically the amount of effort it takes. So for Midjourney, it's literally a prompt that you send to Discord. It's a Discord message. For stable diffusion, it's most customizable in the sense, if you look at the UI, and if you look at the community that exists around it, if you look at the subreddit, you'll figure out it's the craziest one in the sense of the activity and the like people, the amount of people building on top of it, right? And then Firefly, I think, has a most complete interface. So I'll ask you all. I'm going to walk through all of these three, but which one would you like to see first out of these three? Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, or Firefly? So I'm just asking which one do we like take a look at first? While I wait for an answer, let me open up the tabs. Let me make sure everything is running. I'm still waiting for someone to. I know there's a gap between when you hear this and when you type it out. But what I'm looking for is, what tool would you like to see first? I have Firefly open. In the meantime, I've opened up Stable Diffusion. I think let's start with Stable Diffusion. So let me reshare my screen. Rohini says Stable Diffusion, so I picked the right tool. Glad we can agree on that. So this is the tool that pretty much everyone uses. There are other ones as well. So there's Comfy UI, is also pretty popular. Comfy UI, Stable Diffusion. So Comfy UI has this like node-like interface. I personally found it a bit convoluted. So I find I'm pretty used to automatic 1111, which is what this is. So it's automatic 1111, automatic 1111, depending on whom you talk to. Here's the repo for that. This is the person who created it, and here's the web UI that we're using. This is by far the most popular. As you can see, it has like 55,000 stars. So this is a home screen you're greeted with. But here's where the craziness just starts, right? So it's like a bit of a Chrome store in the sense you can install. That's right. You can install extensions um, from URLs. So people have created different sorts of extensions, and it does come with a few ones by default. And you can just install them. So you pop in the link here, you install, and that appears here. I've already installed the ones I really liked. So I have installed ControlNet, which we'll take a look at. So that's the first thing. And now this is the home screen you have. You can like load in different models. So I really like Winterdoi, and this is how you start making images. So I'll suggest you all to also come up with a prompt while I try to think of something. So since we're doing an H2AI study group, I'll say an underwater New York City futuristic yellow theme. Put this as zero point 0.7. Fish in the background. Submarines visible. Let's try to see what happens. I'll take a prompt of the audience as well if you all want. This is the first image it comes up with. I really like how the submarine looks like a fish already, and you can see some fish are stuck to the side of it. Let's try increasing the resolution. So yeah, let's stick to this one and let's generate that. So this is the interface you're greeted with. You put in the prompt, and of course you click the generate button from where you start getting the images. But if you just saw, I've like literally added a bunch of more options. So all I did was I selected high resolution upscaling, and basically when I did that, I asked Stable Diffusion to, hey, like, please go from this resolution to double the size. And I always go with the default settings, but you can play around with it. And I've asked it to like run the inference for 20 epochs. So that's what's happening right now. Now, let's see. If you don't want stones in these generations, right? And whenever you upscale, it always takes a minute. So that's what's happening right now. And I always go with the default settings, but there's a bunch you can select from. So this is a sampling method, and here are the upscalers you can use. So the first few are latent based, which means they also change the image a bit. The last few are GAN based, so they mostly keep the image preserved. But now let's say after this image comes up, let's say I don't want any stones in it, or any rocks in it, or any rocky terrain. So what I'm trying to come up here with is, I'm thinking I just want to see fish all the way around. So like just fishes till the end of the image, and no like rocks or anything like that. So what I've done here is I've given a negative prompt. So I'm asking it, please don't generate this. Let's see if that works. And actually, I'll stop this one, and I'll disable high res because that takes a bit longer. So I'm running this on a 3090, and you can see it's like fairly fast, but it's already gone down in quality a bit, right? So here's the like concept I'm trying to introduce you all to. Whenever, at least in my experience or opinion, whenever you're generating images, it's sort of this conversation, first of all, between your imagination, your vocab, and then the model. So it's like at the end of it, whenever someone like talks about prompt engineering, it's about how effectively can you come up with a few words that this model recognizes and comes with an output. And at the end of any of this, what you really want is like an image that's closest to what you had in your imagination, right? And it's even better if it like comes up with something that's better than what you had thought of. So you can see that here it's at least like becoming too childish for my liking, so I'll probably remove all of these. Let's see if that helps. So I really want something futuristic and like something kind of cool. So it's getting there a little. I put in submarines visible. Let's change that to skyscrapers. Yep, this is the exact image I had in my mind. So you can see it's like this underwater H2O world. And as a reminder, you can find the details about H2O world under the like button. Subtle segue, I know, or maybe not. But anyways, so this is how you generate images inside Stable Diffusion. Now, I loaded in a particular model, but here are a bunch of them that I have in memory. So these are all different checkpoints that people have fine-tuned and shared with the community, and you can find these on Hugging Face Model Hub, or there are different websites as well. People share these on Reddit as well. So you can download these from here, and after you've done that, you can also add textual inversions. You can also add LORA or LoRa. These are further fine controls over the model outputs. I'm not going to go into what these are in particular, but these basically like help you come up with certain characters, or help you control the outputs even more. So let me find an example I had in my mind. And while I'm doing that, if anyone has any prompts that you all want to run, just let me know. So I'm just searching for the model I wanted to share quickly. So here's one of them. This is called Illuminati Diffusion, and this is crazy good with low lights. So you can see even most of the models struggle with low lighting situations, but Illuminati Diffusion sort of is really good at that. Um, so that's like a bit of a challenge, right? You almost need to know about all of these models and where they exist in order to even like approach this problem. Now, what I'm trying to do is I was trying to showcase a text inversion, which I was finally able to find. So here it is. And this is another website where people share models and different details. So here's a textual inversion that lets you make really cool visualizations. Now, stable diffusion or diffusion models generally struggle with text and they're like absolutely bad at that. So just ignore that bit. But you can see that I would read this. If I like see this poster from far, I would like walk up and read this. I would definitely walk up to it and start reading what's there. So textual inversion and all of these techniques allow you to have this control over all of the backbones you're playing with, right? And then I'll finally introduce you all to ControlNet as well, which is like one of the best things about Stable Diffusion. So I'd made this uh, PyTorch logo animation, and if anyone has any logos in mind, let me know. But I'll let's. I'm thinking let's try TensorFlow logo today. Let's see if I can find that. I just want this. Let me save this to downloads. Now what I'll do here is I'll enable ControlNet. It's asking me to drop in the image. Here you go. And what I'll do is I'll enable the processor to be canny edge detection, and I'll also enable the model to be canny edge. And let's preview the result. Please show me the result. Here it is. So it's come up with the canny edge map of the input I just gave it. Now what's going to happen is if I enable this by clicking here, this would let me come up with the image that includes this inside of it. So the logo canny edge inside of it. And if I just run it with the same prompt, it's probably not going to be effective, but let's see what happens. I think what it's doing right now is it's loading up the canny edge model, and let's just wait for it to run. Yep, there you go. So I actually like this. What do you guys think? I like it a bit. I didn't expect it to come out this good. Um, yeah, so you can see that it's possible to do all of this. So let's try. I'm thinking, how about we make this like a water tank and fill that with fishes. So let's say a fancy shaped bottle image, not images, fishes inside the bottle, and let's say yellow theme. Generate that. So what I'm doing here is if you put in brackets, that gives weightage to a word. And if I put zero point 0.3, zero point 0.7 against it, that reduces the weightage a little bit. So I found this trick to work most effective for colors. Otherwise, it just paints everything in the color that you wanted to, which it's like sort of already doing here. So that's my first trick that I wanted to share with you all. So the PyTorch images I had come up with, that was just like honestly all of the work there was prompting. So you can see that this works fairly good enough, fairly well enough. And if you come up with good prompts, you can probably come up with very interesting images. So let's try one last one, which is um, epic landscape. By the way, I really like how this one came out. Let's try this last one. And that's a very short prompt. I actually like this. It's like, I think it's going to be a maze. Yep. So I haven't tried this, by the way, with TensorFlow logo at all. And I'm liking how the outputs are coming out. So let me show you another thing you can do with stable diffusion. You can in paint very easily inside of this tool itself. So what I'll do here is I've sent it to in paint tab, and let me increase the brush size. Yep. So I can ask stable diffusion to in paint things here. So let's say I just color this edge completely, and I will ask it to come up with yellow colored yellow color fishes. Very simple prompt, but let's see what it does. So you can see I in painted fishes there, and it's not like it's obviously looking a bit jarring because I haven't like had the most finest brush. But you can also add subjects like that, right? And then here's another one. So you could also do instruct pics to pics, which means if I drop this image here and I say make this a cartoon while I wait for the model to load up. Yeah, so this this isn't the most effective. Maybe it's like following the shape a little. But yeah, pix to pix basically changes the style of the image to an output pixel style, output style that you ask it to. So personally, I haven't tried this a lot. I've played a fair bit with image to image models, which take an input as an image and give you an output image. I played a lot with text to image, and my favorite feature of Stable Diffusion is Control Net, which basically allows you to do this. The thing I just showed you. So that was Stable Diffusion. Do you all want to see Midjourney now, or maybe Firefly? So I'm waiting on the chat to confirm if you all want Midjourney or Firefly. I have Firefly open. I'll start with this unless anyone says anything otherwise. External awareness is saying mid journey. So let's external awareness for you. I'm switching. I'm switching screen sharing quite painfully. It's very annoying to select the right window and then you don't, and then you have to do it all over again. Uh, there we go. So first pro tip: if you ever end up inside Midjourney server, let's try this. You will realize there's like an infinite amount of images being generated every single second. So if I just leave this open and it's already stuck. So if I refresh this or if I like just wait for things to roll in, you'll see images being generated every second. And if you try to generate your images here, your own images, um, it's a bit painful and you will always lose track of them. So first pro tip is to invite the Midjourney bot to your own server. And if you all saw the thumbnail, this is how I had made it. So I'd asked it to make mountains of melting ice cream in yellow theme because I'm again staying true to H2O's logo. And this is the first way of interacting with Midjourney, right? So this is how you make images. You go slash imagine and you put in prompts. Let's see what prompt I had put in for stable diffusion, and let's see if I can copy that. I've already changed it a few times, so I can't. We'll have to go off of my memory, which isn't very reliable, but we'll see what we can do. So I'll ask it. I am, by the way, I'm guessing this is visible to everyone. So I'm asking it underwater NYC futuristic fishes visible yellow. Um, and saying yellow. Four. Here we go. So this is first thing you'll notice is this is how you give weightage here. So in stable diffusion, you have to make brackets, and in Midjourney, you can put double colons, and that gives you weightage, or that tells Midjourney you can give weightage to certain words. So we're waiting for this to start. Now, Midjourney relies on a service. There is no way to call the API outside Discord unless you like write a bot that talks to your Discord bot, and you know what I mean. So you could write a bot that talks to your Discord bot and write an API that connects to it. I haven't tried it. I'm sure some people have, but the best way of interacting, or the only way of interacting with Midjourney, is through Discord, and it's just through simple prompting like so. So you uh, call in slash imagine and you give it a few words and you ask it to generate. Now, since this relies on Midjourney servers, some of the time, as you can see today, so I've had instances where it comes out with outputs in like a second. So it's like instantaneous, all instantly, like with the snap of your finger, you'll see the new output. Today, it appears to be under a bit of flood. So you can see that it's taking a minute to come up with these outputs. In the meantime, let me show you how you configure Midjourney. So you can go settings, and this gives you all the options. So these are the options I like. I have, of course, like fast mode, and you can see that also takes a minute. And since I've subscribed, so I'm on the cheapest plan, but you can buy the more expensive ones. The cheapest one is $10 a month, and I think I quite like it, so I don't mind it at all. You can select the version, and 5 is only available to paying subscribers, I believe. And then I like high quality mode and medium styling. So if you go styling very high, it will add the personality thingy I was talking about and make those images very mid journey like. So the like style will very much pop out. And you can either make your images private. These are the styles I like. Let me dismiss that message. And this is the image Mid Journey came up with. I am a fan of this, as you can see, like how the style comes up. So you can see there's a taxi parked in the middle of this. There are fishes swimming around it. This looks like a New Yorkie subway bridge, right? I know, like, if anyone from New York is in the chat, but I really like the third one. So I'll ask it, please upscale the third one. I click on U3, and that gives me an upscaled image. I could go, wow, so cool, whatever. I could like act dramatically. I am looking at this silently because I'm really enjoying this image and I'm like trying to absorb the details. But you can see the taxi is very much realistic. The fishes are yellow themed, but it's not completely blotched in yellow. The details on the bridges are really nice. You can see that if this was underwater for a bit, it would have these stains which appear very realistic. I can see sneak peeks of like a building here, a skyscraper, and then you can see the shadows are also pretty good. So I'm like just pointing out these subtle things that make it so good, right? So let me show you a few tricks, and let's try something else this time. Let's say um, Pikachu. Pikachu is too famous. Let's say here philosopher studying in a library intense expression, and I'll say 8K photo from phone. This is the first trick I wanted to share about this, about Midjourney. If you say photo from phone, most of the times it comes up with very realistic looking images. So that's the trick word to come up with realistic images. It's actually the second trick since I already showed you the selfie trick, and we'll wait for this to start. The other one is you can literally pass arguments when coming up with prompts. So you can say aspect ratio 16 is to 9, and that will give you like a normal or 1080p ish image. We'll wait for this to start. Any questions about Midjourney so far? I think it's like it's fairly straightforward. It's like more of a interactive tool, right? So you can play around and see. But if you have any questions about like what I think is cool about it or anything in particular, I can take those. So while that happens, here's like a image I was trying to generate. I was basically I just watched I just watched John Wick 4, and of course I had to generate some images of Keanu Reeves. So here's one. Here's another one. Keanu Reeves in Call of Duty, and I think this looks pretty good. So you can see that you can also do such tricks where you can put in famous public figures in different scenarios. Let me see if I have any other cool ones. Scrolling up, scrolling up. So here's another trick. I promised I'll share another trick. So here's one for you. You can make really cool UI elements like so. So of course this is Midjourney. It's a diffusion based model. It will mess up the text, but the UI would still look pretty cool. So I asked it to generate visually appealing UI template for travel booking app, showcasing accommodation options. And like if I take off my glasses, right, and if I look at this, I would say yes, this is a booking app. Just try that. Just don't try to focus at it while you're looking at it. I'm sure you'll agree on that. So Midjourney can come up with very realistic UI elements. And the image of our bear philosopher is ready. So let's take a look at that. I'm not going to say wow, wow, so cool, so real. Um, I'm just going to admire this and let you all look at this. So I actually like the first image a bit. So let's upscale that. There you go. Yeah, so it looks like the bear is thinking about something quite intently. It's look like you can see there's a lamp here. The bear is in focus, and it looks like it's a bokeh, right? It's a bokeh photo. You can see the light is coming in from the windows, and the shadows look pretty cool. There's a depth of field. So Midjourney is pretty good with this trick I just showed you all. If you ask it to make 8K photo from phone, it'll make a very realistic looking image. So this is about Midjourney. I think it's like the aesthetics of it, the whole element of it. It's really cool. I really like how it comes up with images. If you all have any questions about Midjourney, I'll take those before finally moving on to Firefly. So I'm waiting for questions on Midjourney before I jump to Firefly. I don't see anything, so I'll continue. But drop your questions. I'll come back to them as soon as I see them. I think there's usually a delay between the time I say something and I get it back. So drop your questions in the chat if you have any. Now, this I think is like the most complete product as of today in the image text to image space. And this is by Adobe, people who have been working in the creative space for quite a while. So right now they've unlocked two of the features. The others are in alpha, and the ones in alpha are actually really cool. So you can extend an image, you can generate images from 3D elements, you can generate templates using simple text. Um, you can get personalized results. So let's say if you like somehow tame it to um, generate mid-journey like images, you can keep making those over and over. Rohin is asking, what does AR 16 is to 9 do? That's to set the aspect ratio. So the aspect ratio becomes 16 is to 9. That's the most common aspect ratio. Um, when you're looking at anything in 1080p, that's in 16 is to 9 aspect ratio. Or even 4K for that matter is the same aspect ratio. So that's just the aspect ratio, and that defines how like the image is structured. Um, cool. So let me show you this tool real quick. So here, when you hop over, you see the community made generations first. And what I like to do is I like to start off of these. I had made a very crisp video, I think, on, I like to call it crisp, on Firefly. You can find it on the channel if you want, on my channel. But I'll quickly give you a rundown of what it supports. So I quite like this image. Let's try this prompt. And when I click try this prompt, it instantly generates some variations of it. So if I click refresh, it will come up with a few more images. Nischay is waving. Hey Nischay. So I quite like Firefly for what it does. Right? It also has this refreshing sense to it. So the aesthetics of it completely comes from stock free images, and Adobe has claimed this will be most ready for commercial use. And I can even prove the point because if I say Keanu Reeves in Call of Duty, it will not generate this image. It will generate the image, but it won't show me Keanu Reeves. And whenever you prompt it to work with any public figures, it tells you this. One or more words were removed because they are violating Firefly user guidance. So you cannot generate images of public figures because, quite rightfully so, right? It's a gray area. Like, sure, these are public figures, but are their images allowed to be in training data sets? That's an open discussion. Adobe thinks it's not right, or they won't let you generate images of public figures. So you might have seen some viral images recently. You can't generate those through Adobe, and that's like a testament to the fact that this is intended to be like a artistic tool for completely stock free usage. So Rohini was just asking about aspect ratio. You can change the aspect ratio to the right hand panel. And this is where things get interesting for Firefly. So there are two ways of interacting with it. A, I give it a prompt from here. B, I select the same thing from the right hand side. So since we're generating images for landscape, I will set it to a cool tone. I will set dramatic lightning and maybe a wide angle. Now here's the cool thing. If I didn't want to select the options from the right menu, I could type the same thing here. And once it generates, it'll accept the next prompt. So let it generate these images. So when I say generate, did you see that? It will remove the word that you've already selected. You saw it removes the word and adds it to the bottom. So if I like select any of these options from here, and there are quite a few, so you can play around with changing the style. You can change the theme up. You can change the technique, so you can make it an oil painting. Let's try that. So this is not an oil painting yet. Now it will be. And I can further. Sorry, this is just a painting. It's not an oil painting. And you can add more effects. You can add a bokeh effect. You can change the materials. You can make it of metal for whatever you want. You can make origami images. But this does look like a painting, right? It looks like a really good painting. So I think this way of interacting with the model is quite cool. So you can first of all select the type of image you're making. You can select the style. You can select the theme, the technique, the effects, materials, concepts, and finally, what you really care about. You can also set the color, lighting, and composition. Why is this cool? If you end up prompting enough, you will learn that mid journey and stable diffusion need lens details. So, if you ever had an annoying friend with a camera who's had a lot of lenses, all lenses have different focal length, and you need to pass that focal length to stable diffusion or mid journey to get that particular effect that that lens generates. Here, you can just select it from the menu and you don't have to worry about that. So I could keep generating images. I could keep rambling on how cool this is, but that's the first trick. And here's another one. So to negative prompt here. And by the way, this I don't think has been shared anywhere. So this I think like one I am one of the few folks who know this trick, and Adobe hasn't revealed this trick to many people. So here you go. But you can say let's say avoid reverse. So this won't add reverse in your images. I have found sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, but that's how you negative prompt here. So I don't see any reverse, which I didn't earlier either, but that's one way of that. Let's take a look at text effects. So what this allows you to do is generate simple text with style applied to it. So let's try h2.a and I would say fishes, yellow, themed city. And since I mentioned this earlier, but at H2 World we're planning to make a splash in the world of LLMs. That's all I'm going to say. You can register for more details. Um, I'll say water spilling out. And here's another trick. So I promised I'll keep sharing a bunch of tricks. Um, it's to use. Let me quickly copy paste. If you put in outline strength, um, this will make the water spill. Let's see what it comes up with. Let me make H capital, O capital, O capital. That. So it's coming up with this. And in the meantime, let me change the font size to what I like. Let's make it like so. No, that's too thin for my liking. Let's change it to that. So if you look at this, right, I'm like already easily able to iterate on this and experiment with it, which is like not so much so possible in the other tools. So that's why I personally think this is the most complete one. And let's give it a second to come up with this. In the meantime, let's change the background to black. Well, it's a bit of gray, right? Like the H2A logo is a bit of gray. Uh, is there a way to change this? I don't think so. So you can see it's showing me a preview, but I am waiting for it to fill this logo. Should I just go back and refresh this? This shouldn't be taking this long. So let me refresh this page. Let's see if that helps. Put this prompt in again. h2.ai. Generate that, please. So it looks like the service is under a bit of load. Let's give this a second. So this is like the second tool that Adobe has unlocked. But I quite like I quite like what it's come up with. So you can see fishes everywhere. You can see fishes spilling out. You can see water spilling out of the dot. There's AI, and please fill in I. There we go. So you can do all of this with Firefly. This is quite exclusive to it. The other things not so much. So the applying style to a text is quite exclusive to it. Generating images, not so much. So this was Firefly. Um, if you all have any questions, I'll take those. Otherwise, I think this is all I wanted to highlight. This is the table I had. So again, we looked at these three tools. I hopefully gave you an overview of what they can do, how you can interact with them. And I promised I'll give away a few tickets to H2O World. So I'll share one to external awareness and one to Rohini. So if you all are still watching, please reach out to me anywhere on the internet. Just send me a message and I'll share the ticket to you all. Is Firefly good with generating text in images? No. Let's try. Let's try. Maybe it is. I don't think it is. I remember a few examples where people were joking about it. Let's say dog wearing sunglasses, savage look, wearing a t-shirt saying hi. Why not? So if the I'm expecting the letters to be jumbled. So you can see um, one of the words violates our guidelines. I think it might be savage. Uh, serious look. But I think external awareness, you already saw that, right? It's not good with text, and that's true to all of these models. So let's change the aspect ratio up. But no, Firefly is not good, and that's the nature of all the diffusion based models. Oh, this I think it got it. I needed to upload this. Um, thumbs up. There we go. Exceeds expectation. So you can see somehow got this one right, but this one not so much. Let's change this to photo and see if that makes it real. Is there any documentation about Firefly available online? There's this the Discord community, and it's a beta that's invite only, so you can register, and they are rolling this out in a rolling this out in a rolling manner. So answering your question again, external awareness, you can see it struggles with text. But just go to firefly.adobe.com and that should take you there. So one more call for any questions, otherwise we can wrap up here. And again, external awareness and Rohini, please message me anywhere. I'll share the invite code to you all for the conference. Cool. I don't see any questions, so I'll probably wrap up. If you still have questions, or if you're watching this later, I'll give out one more ticket. So just drop a comment anywhere. Or if you have questions, just comment still. I'll get back to that. Thanks for watching. If you did, we plan to do a lot more generative AI stuff, and I'll keep you all posted. Thanks, but I don't live in India. You can still watch it online. So I think that that should be free to register for. Um, so if you if you'd like to attend, you can still watch it online. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone, and please stay tuned for more generative AI stuff and some very exciting updates about generative AI, so to speak, from H2 as well. Thanks for watching.